Hey guys, and welcome back to another recent viewing video, and this could be one of the last ones for a little while, not for good, but I finally chewed through all of my important voodoo rentals, and boy, it ended with a bang for sure, no pun intended, and it is like super dark, so I apologize if it's a little too dark, but anyway. It's a snow day, it's kind of crappy weather outside, and I just decided that on the last or second to the last day I had to watch this movie, I would knock it out, and it just, like I said, it knocked me for a loop. The last few movies that I watched have been all pretty good. Like, I expected them to be decent, and then they ended up really like impressing me. Not that that's hard to do or anything. I'm not a cinema snob or anything like that. But anyway, Fury, it's a World War II movie about a tank called the Fury, and the people who man and arm the tank, and I'm not even sure what you would call what they were, a troop or a battalion or whatever it was. My apologies. My terminology and stuff for World War II, and I guess just military stuff in general, is pretty slim. But anyway, this group is led by Brad Pitt, and includes characters played by Shia LaBeouf, Michael Pena, John Isaacs, I think is his name. He was on the first season or two of The Walking Dead. Logan Lerman, who kind of plays, I guess, the main character in this movie. And yeah, that was pretty much the entirety of the group. Logan Lerman's character is a just green, young, naive, fresh out of being in some other part of the army where you would think that this guy wouldn't be sent into battle, but of course it was World War II, so I'm sure it was just like, put everybody out there that you can. And yeah, he goes through some intense shit. He goes from being petrified to, like, unable to kill people, wanting himself to be dead, wanting to run away, crying in his hands over what he's seen, to eventually being a little bit more of a hardened soldier and really doing some stuff that I'm sure was going to affect him for the rest of his life. It's a movie, and it's based loosely on historical events, but it's still a movie with, dramatic license, and I'm sure they took advantage of that, and I know that that's how it is with all movies. I know that's how it is with other war movies that I've seen, from Saving Private Ryan to, Full Metal Jacket and other Vietnam movies. It's definitely meant to provoke, some sort of a feeling within you, and not just be a documentary. Even though documentaries can evoke that kind of response as well. In fact, this movie has really pushed me to the point where I'm like, I would like to pick up some really good wartime DVDs and Blu-rays that are documentary style, and I'd like some stuff that's been done recently, not something that was done 20 years ago. And I'd like to just know a little bit more about things like World War I, World War II, the Korean War, the Vietnam War, even so far as to go back as like the Civil War. I think it would be really interesting to know some of those things that supposedly present fact, just as long as it's not a long string of movies and whatnot. Like, Band of Brothers and the Pacific have looked interesting, but I know that those are actually acted out. They're not these big, immense documentaries. I want to see more of a documentary style thing, but I won't ever discount movies like Fury and, like I said, Saving Private Ryan, and any of the other movies that have come out that touch on these subjects. It's an important part to, American past, but it's an important part to the entire world's history. And I've been thinking about that a lot. I don't remember if I ever mentioned it in a vlog or anything, but when I was at work, it's probably been a good couple of months ago at this point, somebody had brought in a bunch of these magazines called Reminisce, and they kind of cover, I would say, like, even back into the teens and the 20s and up into like the 60s and 70s, they talk a lot about the past. And they always had sections about the war efforts in the different times of our country's past. And I was just touched by a lot of those stories. And the thought of those, like, I'm so pigeonholed, you know, here into my little house and my job and my simplistic little life. And I can't imagine being anywhere else than here. I can't imagine going across a county line for a vacation at a campground or something, let alone going all the way across the world to the other side of the globe and having a gun put in my hands and fighting in some war for the freedom and future of all of us. I'm not one of these people who believes in every single battle we've ever been a part of, that we should have been a part of it, but I would say that the world wars were definitely something that was important. And like I said, it's just really made me think about a lot of stuff. Watching this movie and even some of the other movies I just watched, they've just been making this old boy a lot more reflective about things and trying to figure out, you know, where my place in this world is right now. So anyway, I guess I'm not really talking a whole lot about the movie. Like I said, the movie was fantastic. Everybody in it did an amazing job. All the people who were cast in this movie were perfect for it. Brad Pitt knocks it out of the park yet again. I wanted to totally see his character from Inglourious Basterds in this movie, but he was different. He wasn't exactly the same guy. Maybe an interesting choice for him to do 2 World War II themed movies in a handful of years. But and Shia LaBeouf, despite all of his distractions away from the movies, he was tremendous in it. Like I said, Logan Lerman, Michael Pena, John Isaacs, the whole group, and all the side characters, all the minimal characters. I was really. There was a part in the movie where some characters who were just barely introduced into it, kind of a predictable scenario or whatever, but they ended up dying, and I was still just like, I kind of felt for the soldiers to see that kind of stuff. Anyway, it's brutal. It's pretty amazing. I wouldn't say it's as good as a Saving Private Ryan, but it's still pretty intense and it's still pretty damn amazing. So that's my thoughts on Fury, guys. Thanks for watching, man, and I'll see you guys next time.